Well, good morning, gardening friends. It is now, let's see, the 13th of March at right around 8:45. I'm still getting used to the time change. And this is the latest addition to the garden, which I put together yesterday, which is a very deep planter. This is going to be for my squash plants. But after thinking about it for a while, I've decided to go ahead and make this a Three Sisters planter. So I'm going to have the squash, I'm going to plant some corn, and I've got some additional beans on top of what's already up in this garden here. And so I'm going to plant that all in there. And I may have to put a cage around it or something at some point to keep the bugs out and keep them from eating. But the main point was the squash, because last year I kept trying the squash and it just didn't seem to take. And it seemed like the bigger the planter I put them in, the better they did. So here we go. This is a huge planter, about 20-gallon container here. And I'm just hoping that putting the additional plants in will only help, not hinder, that the root systems don't get tangled or whatever. But anyway, now it's time to put in some dirt. Alright, so this is one of the planters I used last year. Not sure what happened. There's not as much soil in there as there used to be. But I'm going to go ahead and I'll pull some of the garbage off the top there, but I'm going to go ahead and dump that in. Alright, well, I emptied that in there and barely filled it up to the top of the first big board there. If you saw the design, if you look at the design that I will post on YouTube is how-to number 2, medium planter. The first board, the first side board down at the bottom there only goes up about 2 inches because most of it is just skirting around the structure to kind of hide it. So there's only 2 inches of actual depth there. Each one of these is 5.5, so I'm not even up 5 inches yet. So I do have some additional soil, but I'm trying to use the existing soil I had from last year first. Alright, so here's another one of the large planters I used last year, and it's only maybe half to a third full. I don't know how well you can see that, but get the cobwebs off the top and I'll take a shot at dumping that in. Wow. I just dumped that in. We're still not up to the top of that first board. So now it's time to pull out the bag of new soil and dump that in and see how far it takes me. I may have to make a run for more soil. Okay, I think that added maybe 1 more cubic foot to it. I got above the first board, and I'm about midway up the second board. This thing holds an awful lot of soil. I think maybe I miscalculated it. Well, I don't think I miscalculated, but I just had no idea how much real volume this thing had. So I think I'm going to need to buy at least 2 more cubic feet just to ensure that I get to the top instead of making 2 runs. I can always find a use for the other soil, but this is just crazy. So I'll have to put this off until later in the day because I got a ton of paperwork to do. I am going to go water all the plants now, though. The only real sort of updates for the main garden, you can see some of the carrots. I think these are the baby fingers that are popping up here. I got one bean that's doing quite nicely now. That appears to be, I'm not sure if that's the asparagus bean or the soybean. I might have to go back and look at my old videos. But the other development is I've got more beans showing up over here, which include, I think these are just the regular pole beans. And the radishes are doing quite nicely. Oh, I just noticed there's another bean starting to pop through. So after I get it watered today, probably it will start to pop up even more. We've got some of the mixed greens are doing quite nicely, and I just spotted looks like more baby finger carrots starting to pop up in this one. We've got the radishes doing quite nicely over here. I have noticed, though it's a little hard to show you, let me see if I can come around, give you a quick idea. I'm trying to locate it and then I'll show you. Well, anyway, somewhere on here, if you stare carefully, maybe pause the video, you can see some lima beans starting to grow. Looks like there's more flowers for the tomato right in the foreground there. We got the flowers that were up here originally, right over here. So we'll see what they turn into. Up front, the chamomile is doing nicely. And we got something growing in the back. Oh, that's more mixed greens. And like I said, to start with here, we've got baby finger. I still have yet to plant the additional cherry here because I made a mistake and reordered the same cherry I already had, and I was really looking to have some variety. And I got the new nasturtium, which I'm going to plant back here behind the tomato. That is, if I remember my plan correctly, so I'm going to have to do that too. And with all the paperwork, I'm going to have to reprint these labels as well as the ones for up front and get them attached. So that's the big planter. There's the medium planter, which is turning out to be huge. And the stuff that I've already had. There's one more mixed green that I can transplant there. The other stuff, I'm probably going to move the apartment mix out. Ultimately, the squash plant gets moved into the medium planter. And you can kind of see the rest of the progress here. And a memorial planter, which that might not be marigold. That would make me happy that it would be something that actually survived all of that. The other stuff, I got to do some deadheading. The new pole is really helping with the second generation tall zinnia, and the rest of this stuff, can't identify it. Now let's go look outside. Okay, so this is the greenery, whatever it is, that was growing below. It looks like we got some new growth up above here. Here's sort of the back side of the, you can't see the medium planter, but you can certainly see the bigger one. And if I swing around here, the really good news is that we've got sprouts poking over the top now. So it'd be interesting to see what flowers actually develop from that. See the rest of them. The flowers are doing okay underneath on some of them, but nothing poking over the top for the rest of the planters. This one has a flower that's doing quite nice. Gotta water and rotate these. And we're around to these, which don't look like much. Oh, hey, you can actually see something over the top on this one now. So, that's a new development for this morning, is being able to see that. And the ones on the back side of the building. Nothing popping over the top, but we got a couple that are looking good. And I think it looks like all the plants on the bottom have survived, albeit, I don't know, this one, no, maybe that's dead. So I'm going to have to do a transplant there at some point. So that's these. And just for fun, I'll show you this bush, which I don't know what bush this is, but these just gorgeous flowers on this. And they pop up all over unless my landscapers come along and decide to shape the bush, in which case they cut off all of these lovely buds. I mean, all of these buds up along the top here, like this bugger here, that's going to be a flower. When they shape this bush, the one time when I first saw these flowers, I was just like, oh, it's a flowering bush. And they'd been shaping it, and it wasn't until I told them, no, leave it natural, just sort of keep it from going out of control. And then finally we started getting more flowers, and this is the most I've ever seen off this thing. This is crazy. And so now we're in the north courtyard. We got an apartment mix in there, but only one little thing showing up. We've got the stuff in the corner. And just kind of see how it's doing. By the way, I don't think I've updated this in a while. We had a pot that had a plant in it that died, and I put more apartment mix in there. So if you look carefully, you see a bunch of little buds popping up. And finally, the last shelf. Again, I need to do some deadheading. Oh, and let's go check out our strawberry. Ooh, I think I see a strawberry. Or at least, yeah, I can see the tip of the strawberry that has turned red, but the rest of it isn't. So I'm going to have to watch this one carefully so I can actually harvest the strawberry before it rots. I think that's it until I actually go get some more soil. Alright folks, it's almost 6. Sun's still up. I'm going to plant things and water. Don't think it's going to cause too much of a problem, but I'm just curious how much 1 cubic foot is going to take up here. So I got about 1.5 boards left. Let's see how much that fills. Alright, that's 1. I thought I was going to need most of the 2, but just need a little bit more. Okay, so it's now full. I'm going to get to some planting tonight. I'm just going to put seeds. I'm not going to transplant. This would be, for this planter, The stars would be over here, would be the kabocha squash, which I'm really looking forward to. They'll be that much more delicious knowing that I grew them myself. That is, if I actually get any. So we'll see. But I have seeds I'm going to put in here, and I have seeds I'm going to put in here that I hadn't gotten to, so I'm going to go ahead and put those in. For this, I was going to order up a different kind of cherry tomato, and actually what happened was I went to go order them online, and I accidentally ordered the same kind of cherry tomato that I had already planted. So while I was picking up the soil, I picked these up. I've never tried Seeds of Change before, so we'll see how that works, but yellow pear tomatoes, and it looks like this is a vining plant, so I'm hoping it'll drape down over the sides here, or I can actually get to them, instead of having to reach way up to get them. Anyway, so I'm going to plant these. I'm going to plant my corn that I already have, and some mixed beans, which I'll show you in a minute, into this one. And I'll leave the transplant for tomorrow when it's actually sunny. At least I hope it's sunny. Okay, so I don't believe in under germination. I actually put 3 of them in. There's really only room for like one major plant in this, but I put about one here, one there, and one more towards the front. If I end up with too many, I can always give away plants. So I'd much rather, though, instead of waiting all that time to see if it germinates with only one seed and then finding that it didn't germinate and having to plant another seed and wait for that one, I just plant 3 seeds and see what pops. Okay, so I've had the corn for a while, but I'm guessing it's still viable. I'm hoping. The mixed beans are new. I'll go ahead and plant them in there, and basically with the squash that makes this a Three Sisters planter. So we'll see how well that works. It did the last time I tried it in a much smaller pot than this. But to give you some perspective, it's actually the one with all the tape on it. When I tried it in that one, they just exploded. It was amazing. But anyway, so that's the plan. I'm going to plant these tonight. I think I'll wrap it up there and probably wrap up another episode here. I'll do the transplant tomorrow, and we'll see if that warrants another episode.